Hey Michelle, this is Luis, and I'm going to be talking about the company that I chose for my project, Anheuser-Busch InBev. They are the world's largest brewery, and I chose their CEO as my leader, Carlos Brito. Talking a little bit about the global impact of the company. They employ nearly 200,000 people, and they're a company with a very strong culture of developing their individuals to their maximum potential. So they don't believe in hiring managers. They believe in hiring people for entry level positions and training them, developing them to be leaders. So these employees, they're being invested on with training, with mentoring, um, and they make a very big difference in their personal and professional life of each and every one of their employees. They're also involved with three major social actions right now. One of them is called Buy a Lady a Drink Initiative, which aims to bring a sustainable, long-term supply of clean water to 3.5 million people in developing world countries. They also have an initiative of beach restoration throughout the world. So they've chosen 100 beaches throughout the world that have been the most negatively impacted by plastic pollution, and they're restoring all of those beaches. And the third major social initiative that they have right now is the climate change awareness. And the way they're doing this is Budweiser, which is one of the most famous beers in America and in the world. Um, it's produced with 100% renewable energy, and a lot of people don't know that. So in order to bring more awareness to the debate of climate change, they're putting a symbol of 100% renewable energy in every single one of their bottles. And they hope to do this by 2025 in hopes to get people talking and debating about this and influencing other brands, to also do the same things and to try to be more socially responsible. Talking a little bit about the history of the company went through several different mergers, which span over hundreds of years, to be honest. So I chose the most recent ones and the most significant ones. Starting at the top, um, Jupiler and Stella Artois were two Belgian companies. They joined to create Interbrew. And in 2000, two Brazilian companies, Antarctica and Brahma, came together to create Ambev. In 2005, they merged together, and it's important to note that at this time, Carlos Brito, he was the CEO of Ambev. He started working at the company in 1987 when it was still Brahma, and he grew. He went through the finance sector, operations, sales. So he worked in all different sectors until he became CEO of Ambev, and he led the merger that created the company InBev in 2004. And not long after that, the infamous acquisition of Anheuser-Busch, which is an American company with the icon Budweiser. In 2008, he spearheaded the acquisition of this company and successfully did it. And you can see here how that impacted the growth of the company. In 2007, here they were still InBev, and after the merger, they nearly doubled their yearly revenue. And this is in billions of dollars. So they went from 19 to 39 billion dollars of revenue. Just to show kind of what an impact of what an amazing leader he is and the kind of vision that he has. And the company until this day has an average growth of 12.5%. A lot of it due to his leadership's characteristics. This is how the company is currently structured. So we have Carlos Brito. He's the CEO. He has a zone here on the left. He has a zone president for each zone of the world, so to speak. So he has a president for Western Europe. He has his own president for Asia. He has his own president for North America. But um, he also has like a chief financial officer on a global scale. He has a chief marketing officer on a global scale. So all of the sectors like people, supply, legal, and communications, they all have their own directors on a global scale. So those are what the people are on the right. And each of these zone presidents, they also have people under them that they have their own chief financial officer, they have their own chief sales officer. So that's how the company, that's how the ladder works in the company. Um, my leader, Carlos Brito, he joined the company in 1987 when it was still Brahma, and then he grew and became CEO in 2004. So he graduated in mechanical engineering through the Federal University of Rio de Janeiro. He has an MBA from Stanford School of Graduate Business, which is the #1 business school in the world. So he joined, yeah, in 1987. He went through all the different sectors of the company: finance, operations, sales, and then in 2004 he became the CEO. At that time, he was ahead of the company when the merger with Interbrew happened, and it became InBev. And then a few years later, he spearheaded the acquisition of Anheuser-Busch to create the company that we know today as AB InBev. Um, Throughout the years, throughout all these mergers, it's important to note that these were different companies that were coming together. They had different leadership structures. They have different organizational structures, different operations, and they needed somebody to to bring to create a culture under a single banner that they could all follow. And Brito was this kind of person. He had great influence in the culture and the principles that are followed by the company today. He's an extremely authentic person. He does what he says. He leads by example. He's somebody who believes in the potential of people, developing people, and he does that by applying the right amount of pressure to the employees to keep them out of their comfort zone. So one of his most famous quotes is, "The best way to develop people is to constantly get them out of their comfort zone." So the company evolved, the market evolved, and through all these mergers, he was the guy who created, who brought unity and who created a culture that could be, replicated. And obviously, it works. It's a company that grows on a year-to-year substantially in billions of dollars. He's also the kind of person who believes, as soon as he acquired AB InBev, he tore down all the walls, that separated the executives from the other employees, because he believes that, a director should be working right next to an intern. That's the definition of teamwork for him. He doesn't believe in symbols of status, like, having a great car, having a driver, or driving or taking a private jet. He's the kind of guy that will, he will go to the streets with his team to understand what's going on, what are the biggest difficulties. He's the kind of guy that will, he'll travel commercial with his team. He'll stay in the same hotels as his team, because he believes that, symbols of status, that just breaks apart the bond of teamwork. It separates you in a way that is not beneficial for the growth of the company and for the functioning of a team. So this is the kind of mentality that he brought. He's an extremely humble person. He creates a sense of ownership in each employee, which is really the secret of the talent and the development of talent of the people in the company. Comes down to, their sense of ownership of the company. They're being proud to work there and proud to be in a company that, invests in their training, invests in their development, and wants to see them grow personally and professionally. And that's why I think he's a great fit, and there's no better fit for this company than him. And so much so that, he um, when he also has like this mentality of dreaming big. There's a famous slogan at Ambev, which is, um, dreaming small and dreaming big, they cost the same. So you might as well dream big. They take the same effort. So you might as well dream big. And proof of his authenticity and how he leads by example is when he acquired AB InBev, they were already the biggest company in the world. But he didn't stop there. He was always thinking, what is the next thing that we can do? How can we challenge ourselves? And in 2016, he as the CEO of AB InBev, he spearheaded the biggest beer deal in the history of the world of $100 billion, where AB InBev acquired SABMiller, which is another brewery, was the second largest at the time, and they gained a market share of 45% worldwide. So this mentality, of dreaming big, of investing in people, of not believing in symbols of status, of being authentic and leading by example, of being humble throughout. He's a millionaire, but you would never tell. He would rather wear jeans and a dress shirt over a suit and tie any day. um, and he's out there with his team on the streets. This is the kind of mentality that that made this company grow at an exponential rate. And the lack of this mentality, like thinking that you're better than other people, or thinking of like an executive, living the good life, is actually what brought Anheuser-Busch down. That kind of management is what brought the company down. So that's why I think he's a really good fit for the company. Um, and continue on that, it'd be really interesting to see, how much more the company grows throughout the years, what kind of other investments, he's going, because he just acquired Sab Miller in 2016, but um, we know that it doesn't stop there. You can tell from, the kind of personality and the kind of leadership that he has and the vision that he has for the company, that it's not going to stop there. So it'll be really interesting to see how, what other kinds of investments they do in the future. And also, as the company grows, so do their potential to to do good in the world. And they're a company that are invested in making a positive impact by the initiatives that I explained earlier. you know, um, Restoring beaches, restoring rivers. They understand the importance of water because it's what they're one of the main ingredients of their products as well. So not only there's the whole climate change that's completely affecting the world, and a company this big knows that the negative impact that they can have with the production of their products, and they're doing everything they can to make as minimal impact and make as maximum positive impact as they can. So it'll be interesting to see what other kinds of initiatives they come up with. I know they do a lot of things on the regional and national level too. Those are the ones that I presented were just on international level. So yeah, I'm really excited to see. I worked at Ambev. It was one of the greatest experiences of my life. It develops you as a person in a way that, and as a leader in a way that is just, it's a crash course of leadership. Um, and it's been working for them so far. And I'm excited to see what other kinds of social initiatives and results and investments that they go for in the future. So yeah, this is my presentation. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks.